Imagine sitting in a peaceful church service, surrounded by family and friends, only for that calm to be destroyed by a cold, calculated murder. This was the grim reality Andrea Garwood faced, but what made it even more horrifying was that the alleged mastermind was her own stepson, Javan Garwood. Andrea lived in Jamaica, a country known for its beautiful beaches, vibrant culture, and warm people. However, Jamaica also struggles with a high crime rate, including violent crimes and homicides. In 2021, the country recorded over 1,300 murders, a shocking number for a nation with just under 3 million people. Against this backdrop, Andrea's story stands out, not just because of its brutality, but because it happened in a place meant for worship and safety, a church. Andrea was well known in her community as a kind and hardworking woman. As a successful credit card manager at the National Commercial Bank, she had built a stable career and was respected by her peers. She also enjoyed a happy marriage to Jeffrey Garwood, who owned significant assets, including properties and businesses. Andrea and Jeffrey seemed to have it all, until tragedy struck in 2020, when Jeffrey died unexpectedly in a car accident. Jeffrey's death not only left Andrea heartbroken, but also triggered a bitter family feud. Much of the tension revolved around Jeffrey's estate, which included valuable properties and financial holdings. Andrea inherited part of the estate, but this decision didn't sit well with Jeffrey's relatives, especially his son Javan, from a previous relationship. Javan, Jeffrey's eldest son, was known to be ambitious, but his relationship with Andrea was strained. He reportedly believed that Andrea's inheritance stood in the way of what he felt was rightfully his. Javan wasn't just upset, he became fixated on controlling his father's estate, and his frustration soon turned into hostility. By late 2020, Andrea began receiving threats from Javan and others linked to him. What might have started as heated arguments over property quickly escalated into something far more sinister. Despite the intimidation, Andrea refused to back down. She was determined to honor her late husband's wishes and protect his legacy, even as the pressure mounted. On January 31, 2021, Andrea attended Sunday service at Agape Christian Fellowship Church in the quiet parish of Trelawney. The church, a symbol of peace and refuge, became the setting for an unthinkable act. As Andrea sat in the pews, a man named Dwight Bingham entered, blending in with the congregation. Dwight wasn't there to worship. He was there to kill. Acting on a carefully planned scheme, Dwight approached Andrea and fired multiple shots in front of horrified churchgoers. Chaos erupted as people screamed and ran for cover. Andrea was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries were too severe. She died shortly after, leaving her community in shock.
In fact, they have already apprehended that he's one of the miscreants with a firearm. So we'll get them, but it's of concern, I said, that we continue to view the activity of these brutal criminals that is a normal verdict crime. It is a situation that deserves extraordinary measures, and we'll have to examine how that can be done.
The investigation that followed uncovered a dark and chilling conspiracy. Police discovered that Javan Garwood had allegedly hired Dwight as a hitman, offering him 700,000 Jamaican dollars, about $4,500 USD, to murder Andrea. Another accomplice, Leon Hines, acted as the getaway driver, waiting outside the church to help Dwight escape after the shooting. Andrea's murder wasn't a random act of violence. It was premeditated and driven by greed. Javan's ultimate goal was to take full control of his late father's estate, and Andrea stood in his way. As the case progressed, the evidence seemed damning. Dwight eventually confessed to pulling the trigger and received a 42-year prison sentence. Leon, who drove the getaway car, took a plea deal and was sentenced to 6 years for being an accessory after the fact. However, the case against Javan took an unexpected turn. Despite being accused of orchestrating the murder, Javan was acquitted due to insufficient evidence. The key witness, Dwight, refused to testify during the trial, and without his cooperation, the prosecution couldn't secure a conviction.
In relation to the matter in Trelawney, I really need to make a comment on that matter. The commissioner spoke to the fact that what you saw was a combination of several agencies within the JCF. The Intel, Operation, CID played a critical role, as well as the Major Investigation Division. And I think maybe this is breaking news, that I'm going to let you know that the suspect is now in custody. He was taken in by his attorney a short while ago. It is a family dispute. Based on the investigation that we have done, there's no other reason.
Javan walked free, leaving Andrea's loved ones devastated and questioning the justice system. Andrea's death was more than a personal tragedy. It highlighted the dark consequences of family greed and unchecked ambition. A mother figure, a successful professional, and a beloved community member, Andrea had her life stolen in one of the most sacred places imaginable. Her murder left a void not just in her family, but in the wider community. Andrea's story is a chilling reminder of how family disputes can spiral out of control and turn deadly. It's a tale of betrayal, greed, and the devastating lengths some people will go to for power and money. While Andrea's legacy lives on, her tragic death serves as a stark warning about the consequences of unchecked ambition and the importance of standing up for what's right. If Andrea's story touched you, consider subscribing for more real-life stories that reveal the truth behind the headlines.